So you join us in the little wooden waiting shed on the northbound platform of Blair Atholl station. It's sweltering hot, but I'm very pleased to welcome a special visitor, Irene Gray, who used to live here quite a while ago, and she's very kindly agreed to share some of her memories with us. Irene, I was going to say welcome to Blair Atholl, but welcome back. So you moved here in 1946?
I came here when I was 3, so that would be 46.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but I think I remember going to live, and it must have been the year before the coronation, because my mother had put up decorations outside the house so that would be 1953, so it might have been about 1952, 51, 52 when we left here.
Right. So you're a little bit too young to go to school.
I do remember going to school when I was about 5. I was in Miss Lamont's class at the school.
The primary school.
And then I think Maris Lamont, she went to Canada, I'm not sure, this lady. I don't really know the ins and outs of that. But then I was taught by Miss Addie McIntosh, and I was a bit scared of her. And Mr. McEwen, Bill McEwen, he was the headmaster. And I remember going for lots of nature walks with Mr. McEwen.
So, but your early years before school then was really spent here.
Yes.
On the station. And when I said you lived here, as we look out of the window here, we're looking at the station building, and you actually lived in there.
I did, yes.
So, talk us through it, because we don't often get the chance to go in there because it's not been lived in for a long time.
Right.
We have poked our heads in, and it's, I'm afraid, in a very poor state. So I'm assuming that you lived upstairs?
We did. We mostly lived in these 2 windows downstairs, I suspect.
In the downstairs part?
In the downstairs part,
okay.
Because it was a big room, and my mother cooked and did everything in that room, and we had table and chairs. And I think the room upstairs, the sitting room, was always like what we call the best room.
Right.
And everybody came and went from that room. And my mother, when the trains were late, and one train didn't come from the north or whichever, and they had staff changeovers, she used to put up the window and put tea and whatever. It was never coffee, because coffee was never in her house until my husband came along, and he didn't drink anything else. So it was just it was just quite a common place for people to meet there.
But your bedroom was upstairs?
Yes.
And were you overlooking the train line or the other side?
We were looking over the bowling green.
Oh, right.
And my father was a big bowler. And I remember watching out the window and my mother saying, "Look at these silly people out there in the half dark, waving the wee white hankies to see where the jack was." And you can't believe that used to be a beautiful bowling green.
It's overgrown a bit since those days, hasn't it?
It has. But I think you're better where the bowling green is now. It's very nice.
It's a very nice bowling green. Yeah.
It is.
So tell me about the downstairs. Now, on the road side of the building, there's an entrance arch.
Yes.
So most people would have come in through
We
there.
came through. There was a porch at the side.
Right.
You came in through there, and then you turned right, and there was a big stair up.
Oh, that's for you to get inside to your
Yes.
dwelling. Passengers would have come in through the arch?
They came through the booking hall.
Right.
And they bought the tickets at what we used to call the bowley window,
Right.
the bowley hall. And also in the house downstairs, there was a downstairs toilet. I think it would be at the back of that building. But we had a downstairs toilet there, and I was very scared of it because it was very dark. Pokey.
Okay.
Yeah. But everybody, including the minister, because he was here quite often at my dad's house, because being an elder, he did quite a few things. And he was quite used to coming to our house and just having a cup of tea or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It was kind of open house, anybody who wanted to drop in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd sometimes got itinerant workers, maybe help on a farm or on the estate, and my dad just used to tell them to come in, sit on the stairs, and he would tea and whatever we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So downstairs there was also a public waiting room as well.
Yes, there was.
Okay.
Yes.
And in your time, of course, the Duke's waiting room that's now demolished, that was...
Yes, it was on the go.
Yeah. Did you ever go inside there?
Oh, yes.
Was it grand?
It wasn't all that grand.
Right.
No, it was. It smelled very musty.
Right.
And my dad used to have a first aid, St Andrew's ambulance. He used to have classes there, I'm not sure if he held them in there when it wasn't in use, but always when Her Grace or from people from the castle were travelling, the fire was always lit because it was such a damp, cold, musty. I remember it being a smelly, sort of a damp smell, but that was her waiting room.
Did you ever bump into him?
Not on the station. I just met her to give her flowers when I was about 6, I think. When my dad was on the committee for the flower show.
Right.
And
which still goes on.
It still goes on. Yes, I went here yesterday.
Right.
For old time's sake. It's quite good, really. Yeah.
Now, the reason you came here was because your father was Stationmaster.
Yes.
Which is royalty in railway terms, isn't it? So where did you come from immediately before you started here?
I was born in Burrelton Station House. That when my father was Stationmaster.
You really are a railway child, aren't you?
I am. So I was born there, but my father before that had come from the yards in Dundee, and he'd applied for that job at Burrelton because that was his home village, really.
Right.
My mother was born there, and my father, and I was born there.
Right.
And the station house there still survives, and there's people in it.
And he was station master there as well?
He was.
Right.
And then he got promotion to here.
So here.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what does a station master do, or what did they do back then?
Well, you had to be, supervise the working of the railway, of the station, and make sure that your staff were okay and did their job and all the rest of it. And in those days, of course, they had what I called the bankies, the pilot engines going up and down. And this yard behind used to be very busy. And the engine shed was over there. And just before my dad left here, there was a terrible blizzard one night, and he went over to check on his staff in the engine shed, and he fell into the pit where they put the fires out.
Yeah.
And he wasn't sure whether he was going to get out because he couldn't raise anybody because it was howling wind and everything, but he managed to get out, and his knee was sorted by a physiotherapist when he went to Dundee. But and also he made sure that the cash and all that in the office, everything ran properly. He was my dad was always a good staff man, and he wanted to make sure that everybody was okay.
Now, of course, back in those days, before beaching came along,
Yes.
There'd have been dozens of people working here, and
Yes.
they'd have all been reporting to your dad, and we've just got a train coming through, so we'll just give that a bit of a pause. We are still a live station here. It's just a shame that more of them don't stop. But anyway, sorry, so there are lots of people, dozens. Who do you remember other than your father?
Well, I remember Jimmy McBain.
Right.
And I remember Jackie Bruce, and there was gentleman who worked as a signalman down there. Who was that?
McFarlane.
No.
Brooks.
That was him, Davy Brooks.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Davy Brooks, who in between trains, I do remember my brother, David, going down there and getting a haircut. That's the sort of thing that happened. My two elder brothers, Tom was very disabled, but he was train mad, and David was a Down syndrome, so he went to school so far, and then he never went on to go to Pitlochry or anything like that, and neither did Tom. He just wasn't able to go for further education.
So did you have much to do with the other staff? Were there sort of regular get-togethers and they got to know you, you got to know them?
I think my dad, I knew quite a lot of the staff, but I wouldn't remember all the names because I was never really allowed much on the platform.
Safety issues, of course.
That's
yes.
right, yes. But I do remember what happened sometimes. There was a ram that came off the train, and the people from maybe over on the estates couldn't particularly come for it at that time, so we didn't know what to do with it. And it was a live ram.
Yeah.
And so my dad tied my mother's clothes rope round one of the clothes poles, and it was my mother's drying green where two houses are now built, and kept it there until somebody came down for it. And I got told off, I remember, for running past it and annoying it, and my father telling me that if it broke the rope, you would be sorry for it because it would chase you. And then in the winter, sometimes we'd get, later on you get day-old chicks arriving and nobody coming down for them. So my mum used to put down paper, made a little pen in front of the fire and fed them. And the only problem was the next day when people came for them, they'd grown and they weren't able to go back in original boxes. So we had quite...
You were expected to feed them?
Yes, yes, my mum, she had hens here and she would have oatmeal and stuff, and my mum would know what to do with them because she used to breed chickens herself. They were in the garden. There was a garden that my dad had on just where the top of the hotel garden is there. And my mum had hens there. And she also had different little chickens in the bottom garden just there because they were fancy ones, little miniature things. And the cockerel of that used to go up and down. That was his domain. Never bothered going in the garden, and people didn't bother.
No, different days, weren't
and
they?
no cars, obviously. Well, not many anyway. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the banking engines, the bankers,
Yes.
which were stationed here.
Yes.
And I don't know, at 3 years old, were you that interested in trains?
No, not at all.
Thought not.
No.
Eventually, you got to recognise them and know what they did.
Yes, and they were very important, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it would be about 1947. There was quite a bad winter, and I'm sure 2 trains got stuck somewhere up there, and they sent another train up to try and dig it out, and I think they eventually did, but I know that was quite a problem for my dad. He was quite about everybody being there, keeping them safe, and of course there'd be no warmth because steam heating and stuff like that. Yeah.
Actually, the smells must have been quite evocative. I remember my dad taking me to our local station. Of course, it was all still steam, and you get the steam, you get the smoke from the coal, and the hot oil from the engine as well, and it brings back lots of.
Well, I know that my mum used to be very cross because she'd hang out her washing on the drying green, and then they'd go chugga 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 chugga, and they'd blow up all this filthy black smoke, and she would, she would say, "That'll be my washing, filthy,"
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. Right, now I've got a gift for you to take back with you. I don't think you'd have seen this. This is actually a photograph of the whole station taken in 1952.
Wow.
While you were still here.
Oh my goodness me.
Fantastic, isn't it? The detail.
Oh, you see, my son here is very interested in the railway, and I tried to tell him that there used to be gardens here and this thing here. And that just shows everything.
Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you, but I think these are tears of joy, aren't they?
That's lovely.
Yeah. So we got all the sidings, you say the engine shed, water towers,
and
turntable.
And this is like, there used to be wash at the toilets, because I don't think these houses had indoor toilets. And you got a key, and I think that's where the people used to do their laundry. I mean, my mum was lucky because she had a little wash house at the bottom of the garden next to the warehouse. There used to be a big warehouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll spend an hour or two staying at that, because the more you look,
the more you see.
And there's one thing I'd like to point out to you, if I can. So just outside the front of the station house itself, on the platform, is a single solitary person. No passengers waiting for trains at that time. What do you reckon the chances are of that could be your dad?
It could be. It could be. And sometimes when the Royal train went up, he'd have to go out. Whether it was daylight, dark, he had to be there.
Yeah.
Yes. That is just something very, very special. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for sharing your memories with us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in what is now very, very sunny Perthshire for your holiday, and that you'll come back and see us again.
Well, I would like to ask you how you become a member.
Right.
That was the ultimate thing of getting in touch.
I'll leave our boss Viv to explain that to you
Okay,
when we finish.
thank you.
But meanwhile, thank you very much indeed, Irene. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.